to be here today to talk about a subject that's very close to the heart of the World Economic Forum, which is partnership. It's a partnership between two regions in particular that have a huge amount of potential, not just in terms of generating immediate economic growth, as important as that is, but also in terms of transforming long-term the way that the region works together and the resources that are available to its citizens. Now, economics is probably the only field where two people can share a Nobel Prize for saying opposite things, as happened when Hayek won the prize. But nevertheless, economic analysis and the kind of macroeconomic discussion that came up in the Secretary General's remarks earlier is incredibly important to understanding where the world is going and how economies are setting themselves up for success or failure. And I want to just mention that it's become commonplace in recent years to talk about this increasing globalization and interconnection between regions as an important driver of the global economy, which is true. And it's separately become commonplace for people to talk about a trust deficit particularly between government and the people. What I'd like to point out today, and in the context of relationships between Greece and the Middle East, is that this trust deficit is happening also between states and between, increasingly, it's affecting the geopolitical stability in the world that we see rising so quickly, particularly over the last 12 months. And so I just want to say that there are three reasons why partnership between Greece and the Middle East, indeed between Europe and other regions, is absolutely critical. The first one is that it helps both regions, all regions, deal with a rising concern over inequality, social reforms and relationships between people and the economy. We've seen this obviously in Europe. It's been a hallmark of discussions and concerns in southern Europe and Greece since the financial crisis, but it's also something that's evident in many other regions, including the Middle East. The second is that this is eroding trust not just among stakeholders, but also between countries and between regions. And this is a trend that we really have to work hard at reversing. And it's discussions like this at the business level, at the investors level, that actually help and aid discussions at the political level. And the link between the geoeconomics, as we might call it, the relationships and economic flows, and the geopolitics has never been stronger than before. And that's been very, very clear recently in the discussions around Russia and Europe and its relationship. If you look what business leaders were doing in the discussions of that relationship, you can see very different approaches between political leaders and business leaders. And the third thing, of course, is this rise of geopolitical risk. So I think I want to just talk about unlocking resources in two senses. First of all, unlocking resources that are underutilized. And in this context, Greece has three major things to offer in the regional context. The first one, of course, is energy resources. The second one, of course, is the infrastructure sector, but in particular access to Greek shipping and as a geostrategic location for transport of import, export and development of other goods and services. The third issue is Greece's human capital. And I want to mention this in terms of the opportunities to develop Greece's outward-facing human capital. And at the World Economic Forum, and I'm here with my colleague Kyriakos Triantafylidis, we are delighted to be accepting and welcoming employees from Greece who are incredibly talented, absolutely like first rate amongst all the countries in the world we deal with. But at the same time, we want to make sure that Greece develops its internal human capital capacity to support the kind of investment that's coming in from outside. And a final point, just briefly, on the importance of unlocking financial capital. So before I jump into those three topics very quickly, I want to say that the data, if you look at Greece and Europe, is looking quite strong. There are bright spots in an otherwise slightly concerning regional picture. You will have all seen the IMF October economic outlook, which had some bad news for Europe as a whole, downgrading the outlook by a couple of basis points in each downwards. So the outlook for the EU this year is now 0.8%. But if you compare that to what Greece's outlook is, it's actually incredibly strong. So this year, still expecting over the course of the year a slight contraction, 0.6 0.6% for 2014. In 2015, that's expected to be 2.9%. So this is a huge rebound that's expected. It's higher than Spain, it's much higher than Italy, and the World Economic Forum's own data on competitiveness, which looks at the underlying factors of productivity, really support this kind of view for Greece. On macroeconomic conditions, on shifts in product and service markets, hopefully also in labour markets as well, Greece's capacity to be a driver of growth, an ever more productive country, is looking very positive. Every year we have a ranking of around 148 economies called the Global Competitiveness Report. And this year, Greece jumped 10 places in that report. And we see, in general, a divide opening up between those countries that reform and those countries that do not. Italy was stable this year in the rankings. Greece came up 10 points. Spain moved, particularly on its labour market figures. Portugal moved over 10 points in the rankings. France did not move. When a country is serious about reforms, as the Secretary-General said, when it's serious about changing the way that it combines various inputs to create outputs, it can seriously change its destiny and its economic performance. It can create growth and it can attract more investment. And I have to say, looking at those figures, looking at the IMF's assessment, I'm actually very bullish now on Greece, as I have been for a while on Spain. And the World Economic Forum is here today, not just to speak to you, but also to have conversations with the Prime Minister's office, with the Ministry of Finance. And in particular, we're looking forward to hopefully welcoming the Prime Minister, Mr. Samaras, to our meeting in Davos in January to highlight Greece's success and progress in reforms. Now, investors don't look first and foremost at the economic situation. They look for a great opportunity. Okay? There's no point coming and investing just on the basis of a stable macroeconomic environment, as important as that is. So what are the great opportunities here in Greece? You will know much better than I do, but I can certainly see, zooming out, that one such area is around energy and energy resources. Greece has already been doing very well on this. It's a great contributor to its economy, but nevertheless, its strategic location between major energy producers, its opportunity to be a resource hub, and the role that it's playing with other regional partners, Cyprus, Israel, and others, in actually developing some aspects, is incredibly important. And I think that can be extended, those ties deepened, particularly with the Middle East, around looking forward to what is undeniably one of the most important drivers for ongoing economic growth in the world. Even with a shift from a product-driven economy to a services-driven economy, energy does not go away as an important driver of competitiveness, as an important key input for growth. And here we have a sector which has the opportunity to attract over $150 billion of investment over the next 30 years, but more than that, drive a huge amount of value for the region as a whole. Now, the risk here is, of course, of rising strategic competition and of rising geopolitical risk. And here I would just say this is again something that we at the World Economic Forum really care about. And one thing that I would urge from all levels of business and all levels of society is to encourage governments to work with one another to find the best outcome for all, rather than thinking about short-term competitive challenges. At the World Economic Forum, we have the privilege, one of our managing directors is Espen Barth Eide, who was until recently the Norwegian foreign minister. He's now the special envoy on Cyprus, and he's spending a lot of time between Nicosia and Ankara at the moment. And this is really around the energy issue, and it reflects the importance of geopolitical discussions around energy, the importance for the whole region that solutions be found, because any type of geopolitical risk, whether it be concerns over state relations or non-state actors such as ISIS, really affects whether or not investors can turn those great opportunities into a stable long-term investment that gets the return that they need. The second area that I mentioned is infrastructure more generally, which has been mentioned, so I won't go into detail, but I will just mention that when we talk about entrepreneurship in the global public interest, which is the forum's motto, the Greek shipping industry is such a standout example of entrepreneurial ventures by incredible leaders that has turned into a huge sector, 7% of GDP, 23% of the world's tankers, a $660 billion industry here. It's amazing. And although global shipping has gone through some ups and downs in recent years as aggregate demand has fallen and as trade has had some bumps, the Greek shipping businesses have been doing incredibly well. But more importantly, we see, with relation to the energy markets, the export of shale gas, etc., some huge opportunities here for this to be continue to be a growth industry. And of course, when we talk about infrastructure, we also talk about opening up Greece's economy in ways to improve its infrastructure, reduce transaction costs of commerce internally, and links to other countries. And then the third point, which I just want to mention, again as an important one, is unlocking the resources of human capital. And here it's something that actually the Middle East and Greece share, which is a need, an urgent need, to drive economies into a more innovation-driven direction. We did a project called Innovation-Driven Entrepreneurship in Europe recently, and we can see that Greece has, as I said, incredibly entrepreneurial spirit in an outward-facing sense. There are some very, very well-known global entrepreneurs, Stelios and others come to mind. But inside Greece, the perception is at the moment that young people in particular still need to be inspired to step up and take the opportunities of the Greek economy and turn them into new economic activity. And that is something that we've been working on, but it's also something that I see the Greek government focusing on and Greek civil society doing in many different ways. So any way that Greece and the Middle East can work together on unlocking particularly their youth populations, how that contributes to the economies is a great step. It's not something that you can invest in directly as you come into Greece, but it is something that you can pay attention to as you do to make sure that the Greek economy stays and continues to develop in terms of its productivity. And one side note on that is the importance of the gender gap and including women in the workforce. This is something where Greece suffers from. It's also something where many Middle Eastern countries struggle with. It's not something that Switzerland, where I live, does well at all. So Switzerland, the #1 most competitive economy in the world according to our own rankings, does awfully in terms of managing engagement of women in the labour force. It's an opportunity to open up so much growth, so much new innovation, so much higher levels of productivity. And again, this is something to really think about as you're making investments and as you look at the huge opportunity of the Greek economy to grow. And then finally, financial capital. Unlocking financial resources is naturally what we hear about in essence, but it's also links to the stability and the good news around Greece's banking system. So the results of the stress test, which were very positive, really turns out that actually everyone is relatively well capitalised, and certainly it depends who you read in the press, but everyone was, I think, pleasantly surprised, particularly in our circles, around how that's gone, not just for Greece but for other European economies.